afternoon, Neil.
Russell, how are you, mate?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can now, yeah.
That's better. How you doing?
Oh, I'm sweating my ass off, my friend.
What's the temperature up there?
I'd say it's about 33, but the humidity's skyrocketed. We had a northerly breeze coming in.
Oh, yeah, so it's bringing it down from the even more tropical areas.
Yeah, it's coral sea moisture.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go back to the first one on the 2nd first.
Yep.
On the 2nd of January. All right, 2nd of January, probably middle of the day, somewhere between 10 and 3 o'clock. It was holiday times. My grandson was staying here with me, 16. And we decided just to go for a drive because up the bush there, mate, I've been trying to create a rainforest by planting various trees. So we just decided to go up and check the trees. And on the way up there, we went past the end of the houses, the end of the bitumen, and there's a 3,000 acre property there, owned by someone I know. And after that is the Blue Water Forestry Reserve. But before we got to the Forestry Reserve, we just got into this private land. And I said to the young bloke, "Oh, look up there. I said a black dingo, because black dingoes are common around here.
Yeah.
They look like a kelpie because they get the tan on them and everything. They're very good-looking dog."
Yeah, they are.
So anyway, so I said, "Well, what's that up there?" I said to the young bloke, "He's got better eyes than me." And I said, "What's that up there? Is that a big black cat or is that a black dingo?" So we got closer, probably about 50 metres in the car. We're just going slow. And it just loped across the road on about 45-degree angle away from us.
Yep.
It came from the right side. When I first saw it, it sort of like the head and front legs were hanging out in front of a stool of grass. That's all I could see. But anyway, I took off running about 45 degrees from right to left across the road, and it sort of ran, not like a dog, it sort of loped along like a cat that wasn't in a hurry. That's the sort of gait it had.
Yep.
The other thing was, it wasn't very big. It was probably around about, because I reckon it'll be a young one, because it's only about 18 inches, 20 inches most on the back end. It wasn't very tall at all.
Yep.
Colour, blue-grey.
Okay.
Blue-grey colour. I couldn't see the stripes because I was running away on a fair angle, but it looked black on the butt, on the top of the rump.
Okay, so it was dark in that general area.
It was darker in that general area.
Yep.
But what really took both of us back was, because the boys and I've taken the boys hunting since they were about 10, they've been hunting with me, fishing and that. So, we talk about this sort of shit all the time, the big cats, the hairy man and, UFOs. Because we're out in the bush and you see some weird things out there and you can't explain.
You do.
So the boys are very, very aware of this sort of stuff. So he goes, the first thing, and the both of us, what we really saw was the shape of the tail and the butt area. The butt area definitely had the taper coming off the butt end and the stiff, thin, tapering tail with a slight curve up. We both saw that clearly.
Yep.
So I said, "That's no cat. That ain't no dingo." So away it went in the bush. It's in like open forest. It's just sort of open forest, just general crap from around here.
What sort of speed you doing by the time you got close to it? But
when I go up there, mate, I like to look around, and I was probably only doing around 50 Ks.
Yep.
So I didn't have time. I wasn't going fast enough to get up on him quicker.
Yeah.
But I'd say by the time we saw him, it was probably 70 metres. By the time he ran, we were about 45, 50 metres. So it was close enough for us to see some detail.
How long you reckon you saw him for?
Oh, well, until we went past him, I suppose, because he went from right to left, went through the fence, and I think the country had been burnt, so it was pretty open. And he just sort of trotted off through the bush to our left. And we just sort of looked stupid at each other and kept driving, rather than... It was later on, we compared notes and we've gone, hell, what the hell did we see? We know what we saw now.
Yep.
It never dawned on us right away. When you're driving, you're not carrying a camera. So, so that's about it. But as far as I'm concerned, that's what it was, and I think it was a young one because it wasn't very big.
Yeah, now you saw that for what, 15, 20 seconds maybe?
Yeah, probably 15.
Yep.
It's like I said, the information went in the head, and then later on we got home, we started talking about it, we comparing notes and that, and we got shit. Maybe we should have stopped, but yeah, it would have been good. If we stopped, we wouldn't have seen much because I was running away and through the bush anyway.
Yeah, it would have been gone.
Yeah. So, anyway, I've resurrected my game camera. Okay, that's about all I can tell you about that one.
Yep.
So last Wednesday, there's another state forest up the road here, probably from me. I'm 20 minutes out of town. I'd say another 15 minutes up the road.
Are you north of town?
Yeah, north of town. It's just back south of that. There's a state forest. And there's a road going down to the beach, which is a hard road, bumpy as shit, but never mind. So anyway, I went down there, and because I had a friend coming who just had a little two-wheel drive Mazda, and he was bringing his son and his mate. They came from Liverpool down Sydney. And they'd gone swimming first, so I went down midday and I set up camp. After I set up my camper, a bit of business, I was just laying on a tarp in the shade of a beech almond tree, because all the new leaves have just come on, very shady. Breeze coming off the sea, not too bad. Anyway, my dog was tied up to the truck, which was between me and the gully behind the beach. There's a gully runs right along behind the beach, fairly well, heavily wooded with, smaller shrubbery and trees and all sorts of stuff. Anyway, he started acting up, whining and whinging and wanting to get off the chain and get into the gully. So I said, that's unusual. So I got up and I walked over to the gully, and as I got up, I could hear something walking in the leaves in the gully at that stage, because it was below, out of my vision. And I could hear it was definitely a four-legged creature walking. So I thought, oh, dingo, pig. So I got up and I walked on an angle pretty well with the wind, because the wind was coming from the north, probably from right-hand side, but back on an angle, because the coastline here lays southeast to northwest.
Okay.
Now, the wind's coming from the north, which means it came on about a 30-degree angle onto the beach from the north. So I got up and I just sort of followed the noise through in the leaves, and I walked towards where it was. And when I got there, I probably walked into the wind that it had walked into. And it let go with this very high, I wouldn't say high-pitched, but very loud. It really echoed off the top of the trees, It came out of the gully. And by this time, I still hadn't seen anything. And that high-pitched alarm call was answered by two others. One, I estimate, this is just my estimation, about 150 metres back to the north up that gully. And the other one directly after it, within less than a second, seemed to be out on the beach, where there's clumps of small shrubbery and little clumps of trees, sort of in between where all the four-wheel drive tracks are.
Can you describe the noise you heard?
Well, I can't do it. My voice isn't good enough to achieve that. Now, do you know what a chisel deer alert call sounds like?
No, I don't. I've heard a few deer calls, but not a chisel deer.
Okay. I can almost do a chisel. It's sort of like, whoo, whoo, like that.
Okay.
When you get sprung trying to hunt them, then they alert all the others. But you take that call and you take a yelp from a fairly sizable dog, like a real loud yelp.
Yep.
You put the tone of the deer call into that, because it's much similar, but it was very high frequency and resonated through the trees. That's what really got me, how it resonated off the top of the trees. It was very, like it carries very well,
Yeah, very obvious.
It was like a yelp. Looks like a cross between the chisel deer call and a loud yelp from a dog that's just been hurt,
Okay.
But it was, the intensity of it was the frequency was very different, because it radiated out of the gully up to the top of the trees, and it echoed down. It was very loud, very sharp sound.
Yep.
But then within 2 seconds, the other two had responded in kind.
So there was 3 animals minimum there?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Now, following that, I stood there. Now, if it hadn't smelt me, it would have walked across the track coming in, which was rather smooth sand, cars driving over it. If I hadn't have spooked it, I would have had footprints. But anyway, I spooked it. It made its call. and then then I saw it run. It ran back from my left to right, 45 degrees roughly, away through the undergrowth, and I got a good view of the back end of it. It also was blue-grey with black stripes. I saw the black stripes on this one.
Excellent. How big?
I would say the back end, because on both animals it tended to be a bit higher than the front.
Yep.
Which my research suggested other people have said the same. I would say it was pretty tall. I'd say 28 inches. I think 30 might be going a bit outside.
Yep.
But possibly, give or take 3 inches. I said could have been 26. It could have been up to 30.
Yeah.
I'd say average. It was quite a tall animal, quite a large one.
And that blue-grey was a sort of same sort of colour sequence as the other one, yeah?
Yeah, so much the same. Now, I've got a snappy here. He's blue and white. He's white and blue. His father was a full blue. Now, they're not as dark as the snappy blue because it looks almost black until you get in the light.
Right.
You can actually see the blue, like a blue. You see it was grey, like a medium grey, dark in some other patches, but it had that bluey tinge to it.
Yep.
And the first one was a similar colour.
When I went to the South Australian Museum 10 years ago now, they gave us full access to their collection of bits and pieces they've got, which was really good. And some of the females are a blue-grey colour, and the males they had there, because they had taxidermies and they had pelts in drawers as well. And the male ones they had tended to be a coppery, reddy brown colour, a bit darker, and the stripes weren't as obvious because of that colour tone going through the top of the pelt. But they're known to come in black. They're known to come in like the typical fawn colour. So, yeah, there's no set rule determining what colour they should or shouldn't be, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, anyway, mate, I've been in a state of excitement ever since.
Oh, that's good.
Mate, I cannot believe I've seen 2 of these things in 1 year.
That's not many people get to say that.
No, and know that there was a couple more there too. Now, I'm resurrecting my game camera from my bow hunting days. I'm putting new batteries in. I'm going back up next week. I always go midweek up there because there's generally nobody there midweek, especially when it's no school holidays. Weekends they all show up and camp. They fill up the camps.
Yeah.
I like to get up on a Tuesday night, Wednesday, and you don't see anybody hardly until the Thursday evening. You know, they start coming along and having a look for a campsite and that. Yeah, it's about 4 kilometres off the highway.
Yeah.
But another thing that has come to me, like I've noticed, that both places I've seen them are areas. Well, the first one was right next to a state forest, which is a very big area. I've seen them in areas that are big areas with limited human ingress.
Yeah, okay.
They tend to, I think they're very shy of humans, even though some of the videos I saw wouldn't suggest that. I watched a lot of videos on YouTube. A lot of them I can discount as mangy foxes and other things, but there's a couple on there you cannot mistake because of the shape of the tail, the base of the tail. The base of the tail is a really giveaway.
It's fat like a kangaroo's. They store fat in it.
Yeah, well, apparently the pouch in the females is in between the legs facing backwards. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Now, one article, it was quite a very good article, I thought. It was really reasonable and practical. And he said the pouch faces backward between the legs. Now, in a dog, you get a rounded butt. The tail comes off, not right at the top, but part way down. So I'm looking at my snappies laying here now. But Thylacine, its genitals are behind the pouch. So in that taper, from the back of the legs, top of the tail, it's got a tapered piece before the tail. And he said the genitals are in that part there.
Right. Well, the genitals on the male actually has a sort of a pouch as well to tuck the testes up.
Okay, yeah. Well,
so the males can sort of tuck their testes up for when they're running through the bush, I suppose, and they don't get snagged on branches and stuff, I suppose. I don't know, but I'm no biologist. But
well, mate, we got common sense.
yeah, well, that's more like an endangered thing these days.
I know, mate. I've been shot down for, for
Oh,
common.
I've been shot down more times than I've got back up, I can tell you.
I bet you have. Well, look, mate, I've told this to my bow hunting mates. Now, a couple of them have got stories too, which I found out.
Okay, of the same species of animal?
No, other things. But when you stop recording, I'll tell you about them.
Yep.
Okay, so that's that one. That's all I can tell you about that one.
All right.
The thought entered my mind. I didn't do it, but anyway.
Yep. No, you thought better.
Yeah.
Good on you, Smokey. Nice talking to you, mate. I'll certainly hear from you again, no doubt.
I hope so, mate. I hope I get some good photos because they're rare to find.
Yep. Awesome. All right. Well, if you get a chance, have a look at our website. We've got a bit of good evidence on there.
Yeah, I saw. Is that the one on YouTube?
No, there's our YouTube channel, and then we've got a website of the same name, Thylacine Awareness Group of Australia.com.
So www.thylacineawarenessgroupaustralia.com.
Yeah, that's it. .com.au, I think it is, but it's not hard to find, and there's some really good photos of bits and pieces on there.
Yeah.
And even some audios as well, if you have a good look around. But see what you reckon and let me know.
So what sort of sounds have other people heard? Have they described them to you at all?
Well, I hear from my front veranda of all places, the yips. They do a yip. It's a little bit like a terrier, but it's not. It's like a yip, yip, yip. They do that. They also do a dry cough bark. They make a clacky noise with their jaw, the males. They'll clack their jaw together, literally like teeth clacking together.
Like a kookaburra beak.
Yeah, sort of. And then they're known to do some snarly, snorty, growly kind of noises as well. We had a recording from Western Australia a few years ago from a lady, and it sounded a bit like a crow, but it wasn't. And they do this double breath thing. They've got this weird, it's like they're breathing in, but they're making a noise when they breathe in. It's bizarre. Some of the noises they make are really quite clever.
Well, this is the first time I've heard anything, but it was sort of like, I'll hold the phone away, see if I can emulate it. Ooh, ooh, but it was higher, much higher pitch.
Yep, okay.
A lot more intense. It really carried, eh?
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, you could. The intensity of it. It was like a dog a yelp when it gets hurt.
Yep.
Combined with a chittle-deer's alarm call, but it was higher intensity, louder.
You've only heard it once. You'll never mistake it.
Oh shit, no! And I've gone. I don't know any bird that makes a call like that. So in future, I'll know that call.
Yep. No worries. All right, mate.
It was definitely a warning to the others, eh?
Yeah, there's a person here.
Yeah.
Good work.
Too obvious. Everything was too obvious. Yeah, I got a good look this time. Nice, neat black stripes on the bluey grey.
Excellent work. Excellent.
Yeah. Just wish I could. I got to walk around with your bloody phone stuck to your forehead going, eh?
Yeah, well, you don't want to do that, but you never know. You might get lucky.
Well, I'll be more aware in future. I'll be keeping my ears open because now I'll be listening for them, watching for them.
Awesome. All right, mate. I'll speak to you again soon, eh?
Nice talking to you.
Yeah, you too, buddy. Thank you very much.
Okay, see you, pal.
Ta-da.
Bye.